Welcome everybody to a new My Hero Academia video. And guys, yesterday, I brought you this little sheet right here, this little cheat sheet that you could check out so that you have an idea of whom to reroll for. And so today I wanted to bring you something a little bit different, something that I think is also going to help you guys a lot, but maybe it's going to help you understand a little better the reasoning behind that other cheat sheet that I showed you yesterday, right? Oh boy, am I scared of making this video though, because I know tier lists usually are incredibly controversial. A lot of people get very unreasonably upset about tier lists. So I just have to say, quick disclaimer, that I based this tier list on the opinion of a bunch of different people that have been playing on the other version of the game. I based it off of other content creators that have been making tier lists too, and I personally don't know that much about the game. I played like 10 minutes of the game. That's it. That's my whole entire experience with Ultra Impact, so I don't really have an in-depth knowledge of the game to comfortably make a big tier list, right? That's why this tier list is only 3 tiers, right? It's just because I'm not super comfortable yet with the game. I'm not comfortable with my own knowledge of the game yet to bring you guys my own opinion. Instead, this is going to be like a condensed, conjoined opinion, right, from the entire community, what I could gather this past couple days. So with all of that out of the way, let's get started right away. Again, I'm really scared of making this, so just guys, remember that I don't know anything about the game, okay? Before you type in the comments, just remember that. So we're gonna start with the bottom row, and I'm really scared of doing this, but All Might is going to be at the very bottom, and the reason why, let me show you right here. We're gonna go over to the wiki, and so that this way I can show you guys what what the reasoning is behind the placement of all of this unit. So his plus ultra attack gives him 650% damage to a single enemy and applies high field to all enemies for 3 turns. Okay, so basically what I've heard about All Might is that he just deals damage, and that's it. Right, like he does deal a lot of damage, especially if he's fighting a villain, right? But that's all he does. He just deals damage, and that's pretty much it, right? Like, he deals damage with his plus ultra attack. With his action skill also deals damage, and he inflicts even more if he's fighting a villain. And then we have that he increases his plus ultra gauge. I don't know how to pronounce that word. So yeah, increases his plus ultra attack. And then we have his auto skill also, if his HP is 50% or more, makes him hit harder, right? And then he loses power and speed over time, which is not that great. And then we have that if his HP is 50% or less, he applies a Great Ones and increases power by 40%. Right, so again, he just deals damage, and that's pretty much all he does, right? Every other character that we're gonna see in this list, they just do more than just dealing damage, right? So don't for a second believe that just because I'm putting All Might at C, it means that All Might is bad, right? I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate already for this list altogether, even though I'm just basing myself off of others' opinions. But yeah, All Might is not bad by any means. It's just that he only deals damage and nothing else, while other characters do a lot of other different stuff, right? So, continuing on, we are going to put the 2 villains. I'm gonna put them together at once. So I'm gonna put All for One and Shigi. And the thing with the problem with these 2 units, the reason why they're in tier B, is just that they both buff villains, right? In the case of All for One, he buffs villains, right? And let's see. So he reduces his own cooldowns on action skills by 5, right? And then he reduces cooldowns of 1 ally, and then, so that's all very good, right? So for 3 turns, enemy action skills deal 25% less damage, so he has some sort of damage reduction. Then he has when 50% of higher HP, increases his power by 25%, and also he acts as a support for League of Villains. So here is the problem, right? The problem is that we don't really have a lot of League of Villain or just altogether villains in the game yet, right? So one thing that I didn't mention is that I'm just making this tier list based off of the characters that you can re-roll on the initial re-roll banner. Alright, so there are other units in the game right now, but those are in the general pool, not in the re-roll banner. And this is a re-roll tier list, so these are all only units that you can find in the re-roll banner, nothing else. Alright, nothing else. I know there are more units here that are not in the reroll banner, but that's just because this tier list was like that when I found it, so don't pay attention to that. So, the problem is that in the reroll banner itself, we only have Shigi and All for One. That's it, right? So, even though this is good, right? It's a big buff to the critical hit rate of all League of Villains. The problem is that the only other League of Villains that you'll find in that banner is going to be Shigi, right? So that is the problem with Shigi himself too. So he deals damage, inflicts 40% more damage if the enemy is a pro hero. Then we have deals more damage, and then if the enemy is a pro hero, medium chance to apply fear, which I figure is some sort of stun, probably. And then we have he deals damage to a single enemy if the enemy is a pro hero, so he's very good at exterminating pro heroes, basically. Decrease enemy power by 20% for 3 turns, that's very good. Then he has League of Villains again, allies increased by 20%. So again, that's good, but we don't really have a lot of League of Villain characters, right? I'm pretty sure we do have this, where is it? This Toga right here. I'm pretty sure she is in the game at the moment, but she's in the general pool, so it's going to take a long time for you to actually re-roll for her if you really want to. Plus, you have to keep in mind that, you know, like, if you really want to make these two like super top tier, super good, you have to re-roll for both of them in the re-roll banner, and then you have to be lucky enough to go into the general banner and also pull Toga, right? So like a huge stretch. You probably would spend many hours doing that. So that is the only reason why these two are so, well, not so low, but they're not tier A, right? They're tier B because of that. But of course, like I showed you in the cheat sheet, right? They go very well together, and here's the reasoning, right? All for One grants 45%, 45, isn't it 15? Crit ratio to villains, and can reduce his own allies' skills, and yeah, he reduces cooldowns basically. Shigaraki gives League of Villains types more attack and has multiple ways to increase hit skill damage, and he also does increased damage against pro hero types. So they bounce well against each other, but your teams are teams of 3 characters, not 2. So, you know, that's kind of a shame. So moving on with the tier list itself, we are going to go into Endeavor. So Endeavor is also going to be on B tier, and the reason why is pretty much, we're gonna read him, right? So he has a high chance to burn for 3 turns and gain grit. I really would like to know what grit is, because I have no idea. I really have no idea. Like, I could search it up maybe here somewhere, hopefully. I don't know, honestly. Like, I honestly have no idea what grit is, but he has a high chance to burn for 3 turns. And then he has 225% damage to all enemies, so he's an AoE, which is very nice. Low chance to burn, decrease enemy speed, which is also very nice, but he has a very high cooldown, right? 6 turns sounds like a lot to me. I don't know. It sounds like a lot to me. Then we have he deals damage to a single enemy with his other action skill, and he has a low chance to burn, and he deals an additional 40% damage if enemy has a speed debuff, right? So you probably need to pair him with another character that has a speed debuff, right? And then we have that increases plus ultra gauge by 30% with his auto skill. At the start of each wave, increases attack by 40% for 3 turns. So this is great, right? At the start of each wave, that's great. But, you know, it's very limited to just events in which you are fighting waves, right? Which I figure, for example, in PvP, that's going to be useless. I imagine. This is my opinion. I don't know. My very ignorant opinion. Then we have that when we have that when his HP is lower than 50%, increases attack by 30%, which is very nice. And then deal reverse damage for 3 turns, which I figure is probably some sort of like when he takes damage, he like deals damage back. I have no idea, honestly, but yeah. The problem with Endeavor, what some people were telling me, what I heard, what I think is a problem with Endeavor is this one, right? At the start of each wave. So he's just limited to just wave events or wave stages, right? And so he's probably not going to be that great for PvP. So that's the reason why Endeavor is going to be at B tier. So let's move on with the tier list, and we have next Momo. So Momo is a really good support, is what I hear. Right, I hear that Momo is a good support. She fills the team's plus ultra gauge by 20%. That is very nice. And then she removes one status condition from all allies and heals 25% HP for your team. So very nice support abilities right there, right? And then she deals very low damage apparently, and then decreases all enemy speed by 15% for 3 turns, which, if you remember, that's probably going to be pretty good with Endeavor, right? Which benefits from enemies having a speed debuff. Then we have that she increases all blue allies' power by 15%. There are a few characters like this that increase allies' power by 15% depending on their color. So yeah, Momo is the blue one basically, and that's very nice. At the start of battle, all allies are immune to 1 debuff once only, and when HP is 50% or less, increases plus ultra gauge by another 20%. So very solid support, right? She's a very nice, very solid support that you're probably going to take, I imagine, probably in teams that rely a lot on the plus ultra move, because she fills your gauge, right? So yeah, so she's a very good unit to have. So then we have the next character is actually going to be Kirishima. I love Kirishima, I really do. I'm really, like, I rolled my account for actually All for One and Shiggy, but I'm really tempted to just reroll again and go for a team with Kirishima, just because I like Kirishima that much, honestly. He's my favorite character. So Kirishima, right? Kirishima is, he is a tank. That's pretty much it, right? Same as Momo. Momo is a support, while Kirishima is a tank. As usual, right? As pretty much every My Hero Academia game that he's in, he's always going to be a tank. So he deals a lot of damage to a single enemy with his plus ultra attack, and then he gains barrier on self for 3 hits, which I figure is probably going to make him immune, I think, maybe, or at least reduce damage from incoming attacks for 3 turns, or for 3 hits. And then we have that his action skill is for 3 turns counter all normal attacks, which is very nice. Then for 2 turns reduces self damage taken by 30%. So again, all tanky abilities, right? This is all very tank like abilities. And then we have for his other action skill that he taunts enemies for 3 turns and reduces self damage taken by 30% again, but for 1 turn. And then Kirishima is the one that is the red support, basically. He increases all red allies' power by 15%. And then for his other auto skill, he increases his plus ultra gauge by 5% every time that you inflict crit damage, right? So you're probably going to want to take a lot of stuff that increase your crit damage, right? Other characters that increase. Let's take a look at the cheat sheet and see what it says. So he's gonna go with Izawa, right? So what does Izawa do? Buffs pro hero attack stat while also being able to seal skills and cleans enemy buffs. So I don't see anything about crits, but we'll see once we get to Izawa himself. So yeah, Kirishima is going to be very nice. He's going to be a tank. If you're struggling with some sort of event, probably you can just take Kirishima so that he can taunt the enemies and draw all the aggro to himself, and then reduce damage taken by 30 or 60%, right? And yeah, and then he's going to deal counters, and he's going to have barriers. So yeah, he's basically probably not going to take a lot of damage, and you'll be free to deal a lot of damage yourself. So that's probably why Kirishima is in tier B. So moving on, we have then Deku. So Deku is going to be this Deku, right? There are 3 Dekus, but the other 2 I'm pretty sure are in the general pool. This is the Deku that's in the REROLL banner. So Deku is also going to be on B tier, and the reason why is, let's see. So Deku deals damage to a single enemy, decreases enemy critical rate by 25% for 3 turns, which is nice. This is probably going to be nice in PvP, right? If you want to, if you don't want your opponent to sack you basically with crits, this is probably going to be pretty nice for PvP. And then we have he deals damage again, decreases enemy speed by 20% for 3 turns. That is a pretty substantial debuff, and remember that speed debuffs go well with Endeavor, so you don't really need to like follow this to the note, right? You don't need to treat this as a Bible, because you can see that there are other synergies out there that can also work if you're tired of re-rolling and trying to get at least one of those pairs, right? So we have then that Deku's action skill deals damage again and deals an additional 40% damage if the enemy has a speed debuff, just like Endeavor, so very nice. And then the thing is that Deku himself can apply a speed debuff, so that's very nice. And then we have his auto skill is when HP is 50% more, skills deal an additional 50% damage, very nice. And when HP is 50% less, gains evasion for 3 attacks, which I understand is like 100% evasion, so like he 100% of the time dodges. I might be wrong about that. If you guys know the answer, please leave them in the comments. And then we have that he increases his own speed by 40% once only, so very, very speedy character, I would say. And then, so moving on, we are going to put let's see, we're gonna put Uraraka on tier B2. She could easily be tier A. I don't know if I should put her on tier A or not, and the reason why is because what I've heard is that Uraraka is actually the best support in the entire game. And let's see why. So all allies critical rate increased by 20% for 3 turns. That is already huge. That is so huge already, right off the bat, right? These percentages are so high. I'm just really curious to see how the game is going to handle power creep, because this is so high to me. Like, usually crits are like 5% chance, 10% chance, maybe like 20 for all of your allies, and then you can have more allies that increase allies crits, or they can buff their own crit rate. Like, I don't know, this is so high. But anyways, we have that she heals all allies by 20%, which is very good, very nice, and applies evasion to all allies for 1 turn. It has a pretty high cooldown. This is a pretty steep cooldown, but this is a great ability though. Like, if you're in a pinch, if you're about to die, you can heal yourself by 20%, and then your all of your allies are going to dodge for that 1 turn. So that's very powerful, and that's probably why that cooldown is so high. And then we have her action skill, counter normal attacks just like Kirishima for the 3 turns, and increase own power by 25% for 3 turns, so that she hits harder with her counters. So that's very nice, that's very useful. Again, she's all about survivability, it seems. She's not really a tank, she's a support, but she is focused towards survivability. I can imagine a team with Uraraka and also Kirishima being really annoying and hard to kill, honestly. And then we have that Uraraka is actually going to be the green support. All green type allies power increased by 15%. And then we have her auto skill is, or her other auto skill is, when evasion is active, increase own speed by 30%. And we can see that she can actually use a lot of evasion, so that's probably going to be active a lot of the time. So yeah, I can definitely see this being a very annoying character to have to deal with, for sure, 100%. So moving on, we have next, we are going to go into the tier A. So again, guys, this is just me like summarizing the opinion of a bunch of other people. Just please don't take this as if I'm attacking you personally, okay? It's just, I don't really know this game that much. But we have next, I'm going to put Hawks on tier A, and the reason why is going to be because Hawks increases power by 30% if enemy has a speed debuff. Again, a lot of these characters actually synergize very nicely with speed debuffs, right? So that blue Deku looks better and better with his own speed debuff that he has, right? So then we have that for 1 turn, give evasion to himself. Again, more evasion here. We have that he deals damage with his action skill, and all allies speed increases by 15% for 3 turns. That sounds very nice. And then we have that he deals damage with his other action skill, and all allies add a second attack chance for 2 turns. I'm not sure what the percentage is for this chance, but you know, giving allies a second attack sounds like a very powerful ability. That sounds very powerful, especially if that other attack, that second attack, is inflicting some sort of debuff. That sounds very powerful. The ability to apply 2 debuffs in 1 turn just sounds really broken to me. And then we have that at the start of the battle, all allies evade 1 attack once. So again, I can just picture a team of Hawks, Uraraka, and Kirishima being unkillable and being annoying as hell. So so we have that when HP is 50% or higher, increases own speed by 15%. So another super speedy character, because he increases own power by 25% when evasion is active. So he probably synergizes very well with Uraraka. Let's see. Let's see if I'm right. Yep, I'm right. So yeah, nice. Feels good. Moving on, we have next, we are going to put Izawa. So Izawa is also going to be tier A. Oh no, not another tier A Izawa. Not again. I was so happy to put All Might at the bottom. And okay, so Izawa is basically the main reason why I've heard that Izawa is going to be a top tier unit is because of this one, I think. When used in a chain, 2 or more has medium chance. Yes, this one, because of he can seal skills, but we'll get there. First, his plus ultra attack deals damage to a single enemy, removes all buffs from attacked enemy, and medium chance to seal skills for 2 turns. Okay, so he can also do it in his plus ultra attack. So that sounds incredibly annoying. The ability to seal skills from your enemy, that sounds obnoxious as hell. Really, it really does. Like, a lot of very annoying characters in this game, I can see. Yeah, that sounds very obnoxious. The ability to just shut down an enemy's ability, just really annoying. Also, the fact that he removes all buffs sounds very good in PvP to me. And then we have his first action skill. He deals damage to a single enemy. Randomly remove 1 buff from the attacked enemy. Again, very annoying. And then we have, with his other action skill, he deals damage to a single enemy. When used in a chain of 2 or more and succeeds, he has a medium chance to seal skills for 2 turns. Very annoying. So that's exactly the same ability as his plus ultra. So very annoying stuff. Then we have his auto skill is increase pro hero allies power by 20%. So he's probably gonna go well with characters like Endeavor or All Might or Hawks and stuff like that, I imagine. I'm not sure. But then we have that when the HP is 50% or less, increases on speed by 30%. There's a lot of focus on speed buffs and debuffs in this game, is what I've been noticing, honestly. So yeah, moving on, we have then, let's see. I have like the tier list done in another window so that I can check. So we have Toyotaroki on top tier after Izawa, and so Toyotaroki does a lot of stuff. He does a lot of stuff. Like, his kit is packed. So let's see. His plus ultra attack deals damage to a single enemy, medium chance of freezing for 1 turn, which I figure is probably a stun, and also medium chance of burning for 3 turns, which is probably some sort of dot, right? Damage over time. So very annoying right off the bat. Then we have that he deals damage to all enemies, so he has an AoE on his first action skill, and a medium chance to freeze all enemies for 1 turn when chain succeeds. So I really want to know what a medium chance and high chance and low chance, what those percentages are. Is it like 25, 50, and 75% is probably the most intuitive thing. I'm not sure though. Then we have that when chain then he has increases your power by 30% for 3 turns. So that's very good, especially if you're going to be dealing AoE damage. Like, yeah, that sounds very good. Then we have that he deals damage to all enemies again with his other action skill, and he has a medium chance to burn all enemies for 3 turns again, and he increases your plus ultra gauge by 20%. So very good, very useful. That sounds like he would synergize nice with Momo, maybe. So they're putting him with Uraraka and also with Bakugou. So we haven't gotten to Bakugou yet, so we'll see. So then we have his auto skill is that when your HP is 50% or higher, increase your plus ultra gauge by 25% once during battle. So he's very focused on increasing his plus ultra attack, right? On getting his plus ultra attack out. So so he's definitely sounds like he would synergize very well with the blue Momo, right? Because Momo gives 20% chance to not chance, but a 20% gauge increase. I think it's at the start of battle, and then she has another ability that increases another 20%. So sounds like these two would go very well together. Then we have his other auto skill is that when your HP is less than 50%, increases your power by 30%. When your HP is less than 30%, inflict freeze status to enemy when you are attacked. So it's like some sort of like more powerful counter. And it sounds very annoying, very annoying, because it's not conditional, right? As long as your HP is less than 30%, it sounds like it's unconditionally going to freeze an enemy that attacks you. So That sounds incredibly annoying to try to finish him off, to try to get rid of him. You probably have to do it in one swift attack, or it's going to be very difficult. So moving on, we have finally the last character, the best. What I hear is this is the best character in the game. Bakugou is what I hear is going to be the best character in the game for now, and let's see why. So Bakugou deals a lot of damage to a single enemy with his plus ultra attack, and he increases power by 40% if the enemy is burned. So sounds like Bakugou probably goes well with Toyotaroki, which is what we just saw right here, right? Yeah. So that sounds very nice. Then we have his first action skill, deals damage to a single enemy with medium chance to inflict burn for 3 turns. When this skill is used in a chain and succeeds, decrease enemy defense by 15%. So decreasing defense is always a very useful ability, always. That sounds very powerful. And also he has a medium chance to inflict burn for 3 turns. So sounds like him paired with Toyotaroki is going to be like a burn team, right? Like you're probably just going to be freezing your enemies and then burning them so that, you know, they can't do anything and their HP just keeps going down because of the burn. So yeah, this sounds so annoying. And then we have his first action skill is going to be he deals damage to all enemies. So it's going to be an AoE. Again, super powerful, and he has a medium chance to inflict blindness, which I assume is probably going to be like in Pokemon, right? When you reduce your enemy's ability to hit you, right? Like it just turns into like an RNG festa of like whether they hit you or not. And then yeah, he inflicts blindness with an AoE too. So with a little bit of luck, with a little bit of RNG on your side, you can incapacitate the entire enemy team, or at least greatly cripple your enemy team for a while. So I can definitely see why he's considered the best character in the game. Then we have his first auto skill, is when HP is 50% or above, increase own power by 25%, increase power by 5% per enemy defeated. So this sounds like it might be better with wave stages, but he's already so good against or in PvP, or sounds like he would be so good in PvP. Doesn't even matter. Like in fact, it makes him even better, right? Like if he's better in stages where you fight many enemies, and he's also good in stages where you only fight one wave of enemies, then he's just good everywhere. Right, so we have his other auto skills. When HP is 50% or above, increases own speed by 25%, and also increases power by 3% every turn up to 30%, which, if you remember, this is the exact opposite as All Might, which is very funny. All Might actually has his power and speed reduced by 3% up to 30%, so that's kind of funny. I guess that's the reason why Bakugou is at the very top and All Might is at the very bottom, right? And then we have, yeah, so increases his own speed by 25%. Again, a lot of focus up on speed in this game, but as you can see with both of his auto skills, he always wants to be above 50% HP, which is probably why they pair him with Momo, because Momo can heal your allies by 20%, which is very good. And doesn't Uraraka also heal? I'm pretty sure, right? Like, didn't we say that Uraraka also heals by quite a bit? Let's see. Okay, here. So she gives yeah, she heals all allies by 20%. So as you can see, guys, this is just a guide. This cheat sheet is just like a guide for you to like pop off, but there are so many different possible combinations in the game that work well together. You know, characters that debuff speed on the enemy, and characters that benefit from an enemy having a speed debuff, characters that want to be above a certain threshold of HP, and characters that heal you so that you can stay up, or characters that tank so that you never go down below 50% HP, right? Characters that benefit from evasion, and characters that give evasion. So this cheat sheet, you should definitely follow it if you really want to, but it's just a guide, a starting point, right? Like, I greatly suggest you guys that you just go through the wiki or through this video. Maybe you can go back and pause it, or I don't know, whatever you like to do, and just consider what every single character does, and then think about whether or not, you know, the 2 or 3 characters that you pulled in your reroll multi actually synergize with each other, even if they're not in this cheat sheet, would be my recommendation. But yeah, that is pretty much going to be the tier list. There are more characters, but as I understand, these 2 Dekus, I think I think they're in the general pool, but and if they are, they're not good. So it's just, you don't need to reroll for them, because every single tier list, every single person that I've talked to, they all put these 2 Dekus at the very bottom of the tier list. So they're not gonna be great. So don't really worry about trying to reroll in the general pool. Toga, I'm not sure where Toga goes actually. I have no idea, and I'm not sure if these 2 are actually in the general pool or not. But I know that this one is pretty good, and this one is not as good as this one. So that's what I can tell you. But I can definitely tell you that these 2 Dekus go at the very bottom. Every single person that I've seen says that. So yeah. This is going to be the tier list. Again, guys, this is not even my opinion. This is the opinion of a bunch of people that I consulted with, and then it's just put this together. So please, please, please keep the hate to a minimum, okay? So if you enjoyed this tier list, if you have any helpful comments, if you have any helpful suggestions, then please leave them in the comments, and maybe we can make another video correcting or moving some stuff around. Perhaps, we'll see. It's basically what I used to do with the Strongest Hero, right? So leave a comment, guys, if you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.